Hello, hello, good morning, good afternoon.
Thank you so much to all of our partners that are joining us today for our inaugural episode of the Claude Partner Network Connect webinar series. My name is Haley Wakert, and I lead partner enablement here at Anthropic. I am thrilled to be kicking this series off with you today, so let's dig in. First of all, so you know how this next hour will be spent together, here is a quick overview of what we are going to cover. So first of all, I will tell you a little bit more about what CPN Connect is. We'll dig into some product news, and then we'll close out with enablement, speaking specifically about certification and what is available to you. We will leave time at the end of today's session for some Q&A, so please be sure to drop anything that is top of mind, and we will select a few to address at the end of today's episode. So with that said, I am thrilled to introduce you all to the Claude Partner Network Connect series. This is going to be our new monthly webinar series, and the intent is a high signal channel that we can engage with all of you. This is really our opportunity to communicate updates that are product specific, go-to-market specific, really anything that you need as a partner to be successful in going to market with Anthropic. And so we're thrilled about this new series. We would love your feedback. This is a resource for you. And we will see you same time, same place every month. With that said, we do have a special episode that will be coming next week. And I'm happy to pass it to Carl Hayden to tell you a little bit more about what you can expect.
Amazing. Can everybody hear me? All right. Wonderful. Well, welcome. Thank you so much, and I also want to welcome everybody to the first CPN Connect. I'm Carl Caden, Global Head of Partner Experience, and I get to open our build section today. So here's the frame that I want you to hold for the next few minutes. Everything that we are about to show you, the product news, the certifications, the program itself next week, is in the service of one thing: helping you build a durable Claude practice. This is not a pilot, it's not a one-off project. This is a practice that your customers rely on and that compounds in value over time. And that practice rests on a foundation, and the foundation is what we are here to give you, and this is the inaugural Connect webinar, so we are very excited. So let me start with the news that makes it real. So, June 3rd, here's the news. The services track of the Claude Partner Network opens. This is one program, one ladder, one bar, and that phrasing is deliberate. There's a single path, the same standard applies to everyone on it, and where you land is earned through what you put into production. There's no shortcuts or anything like that. Three things open with this. Number one, a clear path to the top tier, so you can see exactly how to climb. Two, incentives that work production, not promises, so that the partners who actually land Claude in customer environments are the ones who benefit the most. And a new partner portal that brings your registrations, your enablement, and your benefits all into one place. I've met with a lot of you, and one thing is super clear. Everybody is very excited to build their Claude practice ever since we announced the CPN network in March. And you don't have to wait until June 3rd to get moving. There are three things that you can start now. Get your people certified in the academy, stand up a Claude Code offering, because adoption is the fastest way into production, and identify the customer wins that you can talk about publicly, because named results are what open the door. So June 3rd, please tune in. All right, so being a leader in the enterprise has given us a front row seat to how the world's most ambitious companies are actually putting AI to work. And when you look across thousands of deployments, we've noticed a few patterns. And that's transformation happening in three ways. Number one, smarter employees who learn to adopt Claude. By putting Claude in the hands of their people, every employee has a partner that makes them sharper and faster with the tools they already use. For example, Cowork now orchestrates across Excel and PowerPoint the same way a person would, and the add-ins now support skills and third-party deployments across Bedrock, Vertex, and Foundry. Number two, they're transforming processes and making them lightning fast. They're taking the workflows that used to take days and collapsing them to minutes by rewiring how work flows through the organization. Finally, they're building transformative products. So they're building Claude into what they ship to transform user experiences and enter new markets. And something really important that I want the thousands of you with us today to hear is that the enterprises winning with AI are sequencing these three. They start with their people, then their processes, then their products. So it may sound obvious, but it's what I want you to keep in the back of your minds as you form and execute your Claude practice strategies. And that's the journey that we're here to take you on. So that journey is the demand. The question for you now is where you aim your practice against it. So here's our answer. Across all three of those patterns, the emotion that unlocks everything else is adoption. So get Claude into the hands of the customer's people, stand up the governance, the guardrails, and grow real usage once the first workload is live. That's what we're going to focus on as well in the first month of the Claude Partner Network Services track launch. Number two, build and transform matter, and the program rewards both of them. But adoption is where we are asking you to start for two reasons. Number one, it is the fastest way to get Claude in production and to begin earning your standing. And it is where demand is widest because every customer on the slide before this one needs someone to drive it. So if you take one thing from this section, let it be this. Stand up in adoption offering first. Lead with Claude Code, the fastest way to get customers, developers building with Claude, and let build and transform grow out of it. Certified people, an adoption-led offering, and a customer you can name. That's the foundation of the Claude practice, and it's what the program is built to reward. And all of that rests on the product itself. So I want to hand it over to Brad Abrams from our product team to walk you through what is new and what it unlocks for the offerings that you are about to build. So Brad, you out there?
I am. Thanks a lot, Carl. I appreciate that introduction. And it's good to speak to all of you from all over the world. I'm so excited about kicking off this partner network. I get the joy of working on our models and the products that they enable, and it's so exciting to see how this community of partners can extend the scale and reach of these transformative products. That's important to our business, but frankly, it's also important to our mission at Anthropic as the whole industry is going through this transformation. So you all play a really critical role, and we want to make sure we're supporting you. And part of that is equipping you, making sure you know what the amazing models and products are. So I'm going to spend a few minutes talking about that, and as Haley said, there'll be a chance to ask some questions at the end, but love to hear your thoughts. So we'll go through foundationally the models, and most importantly Opus 4.7. That powers everything else. And then as Carl mentioned, the easiest path in is Claude Code, so we'll talk a little bit about that. And then CoWork is a nice extension to that expands on Claude Code for non-developers. And then what I think is ultimately most important, because it's what I work on day to day, is our platform. And that's where we're really transforming businesses in their applications in a deeper way. So we'll just run through these really quickly. So first, Opus 4.7 is our most capable model. And generally, you'll see Anthropic focuses on the edge of intelligence. Like, what are the most difficult tasks that customers have? And we try to have models that can do those, that continually push the frontier forward. And that's really where Opus 4.7 is. What are the long-running agentic tasks? But just to level set the set of models that we have, Opus is our largest commercially available model. Some of you that are really in the loop may know about Mythos is also a model family that we have. We're working to make that one more broadly available, but right now, because of some AI safety cyber risks, we're keeping that very closely held to a small number of people. But Opus is broadly available, and it's really a premier model for long-running agentic tasks, async workloads, things that need to go for hours or days of autonomous operation. That's really the kind of premium sell, and I put the prices on here just to give you a sense for like what you're talking about here. But Sonnet is kind of our workhorse model though, because there's many use cases that still very demanding in intelligence, but where the cost is more important. And really, we need customers to be able to deploy solutions that have a positive ROI, and so having a model that is both intelligent but also less cost is really important. And then Haiku is our smallest model. It's more for kind of shorter term use cases. So it's not quite as intelligent, but it is very cheap. Oftentimes, what we see Haiku being used for is in as sub agents. So you spin up one agent, and then it spins off a bunch of small workers to do research tasks or whatnot. That's really what Haiku is for. And then you can have Opus or Sonnet sort of controlling the overall experience. So that's the overall model family that we have. But just to drill in here, as I mentioned, Opus 4.7 is the most recent model we have released. It's our most intelligent model. For sure, coding is the strongest capability. I just want to emphasize, of course, that's important to developers. So if you're helping a company adopt AI, the first place is to talk to their development team. Like how do we help their development team accelerate? And Claude, Opus 4.7, and we'll talk about Claude Code in a minute, are really amazing ways to accelerate any software development team. But the cool thing about coding is that it enables a broad range of use cases. It turns out even knowledge work tasks like creating a PowerPoint presentation is actually coding under the covers. So the fact that our models are great at coding not only helps software development, but it helps a wide range of use cases. Opus 4.7 also supports this we call multimodal reasoning. And so this is really important for companies that are maybe getting financial data in, getting data in images and charts and graphs, getting manufacturing schematics. All of that you can bring in, and Opus 4.7 understands this data super well and can reason about it quite nicely. And then it's kind of ready for the enterprise level performance with capabilities across finance and a broad number of workloads. Okay, let's press on here. So what has improved in 4.7? In agentic coding, the real Opus 4.7 is just amazing at really long-running tasks that maybe take, the kind of task it enables are things that are just not economic to do without it. So can it take every SEC report, not just the top 100, but every one of them, and do analysis across all of these? Bring together data sources from hundreds of different places to do some analysis. So one thing you can do is really help customers. What we say inside Anthropic is feel the AGI. Like, how can we help customers see what's possible? And that's really where our models and our products will shine, if we're helping customers reach further with that. And then that goes with the improved memory as well. The capability gap on these models nowadays is mostly around context, and like whether or not you're feeding the right context into the model. So having the models be much better at memory means you can have a few early customers go and try things at an enterprise, and then the agentic systems that they're in actually have memory capabilities that can learn how to do tasks. And so when the masses start doing them, it's just so much more seamless. Okay. We talked about Claude Code already, but let me just drill in a little bit for those that maybe aren't as familiar. Claude Code is our agentic coding harness. So it leverages our models And I would say if there's any customer that is doing software development, employs any developers at all, they really would benefit from Claude Code. That's why, as Carl mentioned, this is probably the first place in when you come into an account. Just like figure out how you can help accelerate their developers. What the pattern we see is you start accelerating developers and they get 10 times faster, and then that exposes bottlenecks in other parts of the company, which we have other solutions to talk about there. But starting with developers, strong product market fit here. I'm very confident that Claude Code can accelerate that development. And just to touch on a few features here that are interesting, they're newer, just so you're aware of these. You can now you can access Claude Code from anywhere with remote control. This is both good and addictive kind of feature. So all the time I launch Claude Code doing some long-running ambitious agent on my local machine, and then I go out to the pool or I go out to walk the dog, and I can monitor what's going on my machine. I can Claude oftentimes asks a couple of clarifying questions rather than being blocked and tied to my machine. I can be out and about doing my things, and I can just nudge Claude along and like, keep doing the thing, or here's the piece of information you're missing, or go with option B. Those kind of quick answers I can do remotely now. So remote control is a really powerful way to really help Claude do these long-running agentic tasks. I'll also mention we have Claude Code for the web, and we just did a redesign for that. It looks really nice, very pleasant to use, so you don't have to use the scary command line tool. You can actually use this nice web interface, and that starts to democratize who can do this development. And then auto mode, probably the single biggest productivity bump for this. And what auto mode does is we want Claude. We're an AI safety research lab. We want Claude Code to be safe by default. So before it takes any action, Claude Code will ask to make sure, do you want me to call this tool? Do you want me to do this thing? Do you want me to do that thing? Which is great. And when you're first starting and getting somebody used to the system, that's very reassuring that Claude's not going to just go off and do some things. But very quickly, within the first few hours, developers get tired of just saying yes all the time. So what we have done with auto mode is we've created a separate instance of the model, an oversight system that looks at what the model is asking for and makes a judgment about whether that's a safe thing to do or not. And if it's not a safe thing to do, it gives feedback back to the main Claude Code instance and tells it to do it a different way. If it is safe, it just auto approves. So this is a way that Claude Code can both be safe, which is very important, but also very productive and do hours and hours of autonomous work on its own without needing any human intervention, because we have another instance actually double checking to make sure the right things are happening. So auto mode, and just that is optional. You don't have to use auto mode. Like I said, for new users, we definitely encourage them to get used to and start trusting the system before they switch into auto mode. And then routines is a great way to do multi-step workflows that can be triggered off some events. So if you need, for example, a CI/CD kind of system, or every time a bug gets filed, or every time a PR gets created, run this multi-step process. Routines are a great approach for doing that. And then once you get into using Claude Code, it becomes very addictive, and you very quickly start spinning up many agents for every idea that you've ever had, haven't had time to investigate yourself. You end up with 10, 20 agents running at the same time in different places, and it can be hard to get a grasp of what's going on. And so Claude Code's new agent mode is available, so you can see, okay, who's blocked, which agents are blocked on what are they doing, what's the next steps, whatnot for these agents. Okay, so that's Claude Code, which again, it's like a brain dead cell. Like you should absolutely be able to get into anywhere. Um, but then there's the question of what do you do next? Once you've accelerated their developers, then how do you accelerate the rest of the company? Because as you just saw, Claude Code is a decidedly developer tool. Like it is for software developers. And there are other people at companies. How do we accelerate those individuals? And that's really where Cowork comes in. So it's a direct evolution of what we've seen with Claude Code. What we saw is, in fact, a friend of mine is a lawyer, and he started using Claude Code on the command line because it was so powerful. And I was, it was that kind of experience that led us to say, if lawyers are using Claude Code, maybe there's a market opportunity for something that's more targeted at non-developers, at knowledge workers. And so that's what Cowork is, a direct evolution of Claude Code, but targeted more at knowledge workers. And so Cowork is great for delegating tasks to Claude. So I just want to separate. Many of you may be familiar with the other guys out there. They have their chat product. That's fantastic if you just want an answer or a recipe or something. But if you want to get something done, if you want to do actual tasks, to do actual work, create analysis from spreadsheet, create a PowerPoint presentation from a set of information, mine all of your Slack or Teams data for different insights. If you want to do actual work, then Cowork is really your place to do that. So it works with your files on your machine and that you have access to either in SharePoint or Google OneDrive or Google Drive, wherever the data is. If you have access to it, you can enable Cowork to go out and get that. And then it can join that data with data that's available on the internet. It can browse the web, navigate links, download things, and it can connect to your tools. So I mentioned Google Drive, Slack, Asana. I use Cowork to look at tasks in our task tracking app, help me triage those things. I use it to access analytic data so I understand usage patterns. And I'm able to just do work. It doesn't help me do work I was already doing faster. What it does is help me do kind of my aspirational work, the things that I wish I were able to do. And I get so much deeper insights from the analysis that Cowork is able to do for me. So again, Cowork is kind of your next sell after you get developers on. You can get the rest of the company on Cowork. And then the last leg of this stool is the thing I work on day to day. It's the Claude platform. And so really the way we think about the Claude platform is how do we enable companies to accelerate their internal processes and to build their actual whatever they're in the business of doing, can we accelerate that core business? And ultimately, that is where we feel like the most token volume and therefore dollars is in transforming their actual business, the actual products and process they use to do their day-to-day business. That's the ultimate impact. It is probably the hardest sell because you're touching kind of the core of what they're doing. But that's probably the biggest impact. We're just talking to you about how to ramp into this, build trust and credibility, and for us and for yourselves in these customers. But really, the way we see this is, I think it's undeniable now that the model capabilities are on an exponential. That every 6 weeks or so, there's a new model that's got dramatically better capabilities than the previous generation. So that capability is going up. But if we're honest with ourselves, the business impact of the models are going up more linearly, and that creates a gap. There's this unrealized value between the model's capability, which is on an exponential, and the linear increase in business impact. And that's what I want us to work together on. Like, how can we close that? How can we realize much more of that model's core capabilities? And that's the core mission of the Claude platform, and that's what I think we need to partner together on to make happen. So how we think about the platform is is foundationally is the set of models we already talked about. Everything in the platform is about getting the most intelligence and the best cost and reliability out of these models. But those models are actually available across a variety of hosting providers. So if customers are already have contracts with AWS, Google, Azure, they already have committed spend, they've already made business decisions, great. Our models are available there. You can just leverage them, no problem. And then the platform offers a set of primitives and infrastructure that helps make it very easy to go build custom agents and actually change the core business of what they're building. Build the same kind of transformational experience that Claude Code and CoWork represent into the apps that they're building. And then we have a set of developer tools that makes that very easy to do. I mean, most notably is Claude Code knows how to use the platform super well. And we also have some mechanisms to access the key knowledge that is in the enterprise, so you can pull that knowledge out and inform the custom agents that you're building with this Claude platform. And just to go through a couple of really interesting features of the platform. One is managed agents. This shipped just a month or so ago. It is, as the name would imply, some managed infrastructure for building and running agents, long-running async agents at scale. So you can, it makes it way much easier. So what we're finding is just like new employees, if you get a new employee that's a knowledge worker, you would give them a laptop. They probably wouldn't get much done without that. We're giving Claude a computer here, and Anthropic handles all the infrastructure, managing that, handles the state management, the reliability, and whatnot. And you're able to access internal data resources, do this agentic loop of tool calling, grabbing the state, keeping long-running operations going, responding to async events, keeping dynamically scaling a pool of these. So there's a lot of infrastructure involved in maintaining that, and we have that ready for you so you can build agents 10 times faster. It's trivially easy, especially with Claude Code, to spin up a really custom infrastructure for a company that manages some of their critical production workloads with CMA. But in addition, what we hear from customers is there is some concern about costs. And I think that's something that as an industry we're figuring out how best to help customers manage costs. What we want to do is give Opus level intelligence, but at Haiku level prices, right? That would be the dream. Unfortunately, there's the reality of the infrastructure for serving these models don't let us do that. But what we have is some patterns like this advisor pattern that can help optimize for how the models are used. So with Advisor, what we do is we let Haiku or Sonnet, the cheaper models, do the vast majority of work. Turns out they are great at coding, but they do get stuck sometimes. And so what we do is we give a tool to Haiku and Sonnet to have them be able to access Opus and get Opus level intelligence. Just for a small window, Opus can look over what Haiku has done and said, I see your problem here. And give advice back to Haiku, and then Haiku can go about its way. And this is kind of inspired by what we've all seen with maybe you have a junior developer, you give them access to a senior developer just to ask a few questions, and that junior developer gets way more effective just by having the senior developer give a few little tidbits of information. And that's what we're doing with these models as well. So this helps you access, you don't get all the way to Opus level intelligence, but you can come a long way, much closer to Opus, while paying mainly the Haiku level token prices. Okay, and then I just mentioned that there's a bunch of resources available. We just did our Code with Claude conference, so there's a few talks. The keynotes are definitely worth watching. I did a talk on the overview of the whole platform that I encourage you to watch. There's a talk on Claude Code and one on Manage Agents. So this you can share them with clients. You can use them for your own internal training and readiness. Okay, Haley, back to you.
Thank you so much. Awesome job there, and so much goodness happening on the product front. As you have all just seen there, we have a lot changing, and so we really intend to use CPN Connect going forward as a fast track to fill you in on some of those different key changes, opportunities that our partners need to know about. So thrilled about that. Let's talk about enablement. I am excited to share with you about our certification program today and some new changes that we have on the training front. So let's start with certification. Claude Certified Architect Foundations is our available certification certificate that we have in market today. This was our first certification that we launched at Partner Summit back in March. Many of you know about this, have been certified already, but I think it is worth sharing a little bit more deeply. And if you are not aware of this, this is a great resource for you to lean into. So today, CCAF is available to our Claude Partner Network partners with a minimum criteria, which I will speak to more in a second here. This is a level 300 technical certification that's really intended for your practitioners. And we are offering this now today at a 50% fixed discount for our partners that meet the eligibility. And so we have seen great lean in from our service partners across the board, and we do have a lot evolving in this domain. Excited to share some updates with you there in the coming months. You can scan and access the QR code there for the landing page, which will give you a little bit more information on CCAF. That is the awesome badge that you can earn and share with your networks, with your customers. It's really a great signal of validation that you are leaning in with Anthropic. I've been watching the chat and I've seen several questions come up more specifically about the minimum, so I would like to address that directly right now. As I mentioned, CCAF is our first certification that Anthropic has taken to market. And intentionally, we only released it to partners to start. That is exclusive, that is by design. And we set a threshold of asking that our partners send 10 individuals through a minimum threshold, a learning path training to unlock the certification. The reason that we made that intentional design is we wanted to ensure that this was really being targeted to our partners. This was not just folks signing up for the program to access the badge, but it was really made available to our partners that are leaning in, investing, and building a practice with Anthropic. So that's a little bit more behind the why. Now with that, I'm seeing lots of comments in the chat. What about the little guys? What if we don't have 10 individuals to send through to meet the criteria? I will acknowledge and say that these requirements for CCAF stand true, and they will through the remainder of the quarter, but we have not forgotten about the little guys. We are excited with building with partners of all shapes and sizes. And so I would just like to acknowledge that we hear you. We have changes that are coming, and we are building and designing a certification program that's going to be accessible and available to all. So this is CCAF. I think a lot of you have leaned in, but if you need any more kind of an incentive to understand why, I would love to call out quickly our partner EPAM. Shout out to any of our friends from EPAM that are on the line. This has been a firm that has leaned in greatly around CCAF. They have already over 2,000 engineers that have been certified in just a month and a half, which is an incredible milestone. But I really like this quote from Dimitri, and he basically says what we, a lot of us know is, hey, AI, in terms of enterprise AI, it's not about the experimentation. That's not where we're running into blocks. It is the messy operational reality of production. And CCAF has really been a useful resource for their team to build skills and build the engineering muscle to navigate that messy operational reality with customers. And so if you needed any more of a why as to why you should invest from a partner perspective around CCAF, I think this is a great validation point. And also, I will just say that this is our first certification to market, and I will be thrilled in coming CPN Connect episodes to share that we have a lot of updates coming and more resources for you in this domain. So for those of you that have leaned in and got certified, we see you. We're super grateful. And for our small firms, we have some exciting updates coming for you on this regard. Another update that I'm really excited to share with all of you is we've talked a lot about certification. What about training? What about the ability to lean in and get qualified and ready to certify? So in 1 week's time, we will be rolling out Anthropic Partner Academy. Many of you know Anthropic Academy. This is differentiated because this is a resource specific to our partners. This is training and content built exclusively for you, and it is not available to folks that are outside of the Claude Partner Network. So this is another reason to ensure that you are in the program, that you are leaning in to unlock this exclusive benefit. And to share a little bit more about what you can expect with this new resource, I'll touch on a couple components here. So first of all, we will be building out enablement in a persona-based fashion. So targeting our architects, our developers, and our non-technical personas. We really want to make sure that learning is skewed and available based on your role, what you are actually looking to do in your day-to-day. As I mentioned previously, we will be posting and hosting partner-exclusive content that you cannot find anywhere else. So there's a lot of great training material, product-related material out there in the universe, but we really want to speak to you. And so this was going to be our channel to be able to do that. Certification preparation, CCAF and more coming soon. We want to make sure that you have the training and the resources to be successful, to feel confident and prepared that when you go to be certified. So that will be available. We will be launching new skill badges, so different ways to validate your skills from a product perspective and showcase that you are really a Claude expert. We will be having exclusive partner applied AI content that is developed just for you. So you'll be able to see a full calendar of events that you can sign up there. And CPN Connect. Many of you have asked, where will this recording go? Will it be available? We will be developing an on-demand library exclusive just for our partners. So anytime you'd like to come back to an episode, dig in deeper, learn more, maybe you missed it, this is going to be the place that you go to do so. And again, available just for our partners, exclusive to you as a resource to really engage on a training and education front. So I'm excited for what's to come on that front. And I will leave you today with one more reminder. This is our first CPN Connect episode of what will become a monthly series. We do have a very, very special episode that's happening next week, which is kind of out of our normal cadence. And this is what Carl talked about. It's going to be all about the services program. You do not want to miss this one. It'll be chock full of resources, the new portal, different things that are coming your way. So please make sure to register if you haven't already, and we look forward to seeing you then. With that, I would love to welcome Brad and Carl back out, and we can take some Q&A live. Awesome. So I will take the first question here, just to warm us up. It is from Jose, and he says, how hard is the certification for non-coders? I think this is a great question, Jose. It is a level 300 technical certification, definitely intended for our technical partners, architects specifically, but we have not forgotten about our non-technical persona, and we do have some exciting developments coming on that front. So I will just say it is intended for a technical persona. Okay, with that said, we have a product-specific question here. Brad, does Claude Code have any inbuilt eval capability? Also, are there any industry-specific playbooks that are available on Claude Code?
There's nothing built into Claude Code. There's not a /eval command. It is something, between us we are thinking about. But one thing I'll say is that the model is actually very good at understanding how to build evals. So whichever toolkit you want to use to do that, or you just want to roll your own, the model is actually very good, kind of understands what you're trying to do if you just prompt it to build evals. And then the industry-specific Claude Code, like cookbooks, there's several industry, and there's one for finance. There are a few available. Maybe we can find some links and post them after.
Absolutely, happy to share those out. One more question for you on the use case front, Brad. Can you mention a few use cases for dev teams to increase productivity using Cloud Code? And then Carl, I'll switch over to you.
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest one is the line developer writing code. Is to experiment with developers literally write no code. You have to prompt Claude to do the thing, and that will feel awkward to developers at first, as any new tool does. But as they come to learn the skill of prompting, they will learn how to trust Claude to write that code and not feel like they have to review every line of code. And then the next thing would probably be in that review cycle. I mean, the industry has had linters and whatnot for years, but it's just at a different level if you have Claude do it, if Claude actually review the PRs. I landed a PR recently, and just when I had my Claude and the code review Claude go back and forth several iterations to get the PR in the right shape. So that also helps a lot. And then I guess the last one I would say, and I think this becomes fairly natural at some point, is to work on several things in parallel. Like, most developers are very single track focused and want to just focus and get one thing done. But with Claude, you have an opportunity to really parallel track. Like, while one Claude is working on this, spin up another one to do another thing, and another one to do another one. And then Git's had work trees for a while, but work trees is a great technique to be able to separate so you can have many Claudes working at the same time.
Awesome. Thank you, Brad. Changing gears from product, let's talk a little bit more specifically about the program. Carl, I would love to tee you off with this question. When compared to traditional partner models, for example, resale services, are you seeing additional new roles being created, with the example given of forward deployed engineers and other types of roles?
Yeah, and I think we're focused first on making sure that Claude gets into the hands of our customers in the most expeditious way. And we've seen a great deal of applicants come in ever since we announced the CPN back in March. So I'm going to be straight with you. The full program, the tiers, and how you move up are going to land next week. So 10 now and detail next week. It's a wide spectrum. So we are building for a number of different personas. This is going to be for both sellers and technical folks. We are hearing. I've had discussions with hundreds of you. We talked a little bit about all the different personas that we are seeing in the evolution of that, and the evolution of the teams that you deploy and how we train them. I've seen a wide range of questions in the chat around kind of the size and scope and the offerings. I want to reassure everybody. So we're building for both ends of the spectrum on these consultancies. So it's not just the large enterprise players. It's also people who have a distributed go-to-market as well. So the progression in the program, and you can find out more about this next week, but the progression in this program is specifically built to reward the value that you create. This is not just about landing some big deal with an enterprise, although that really does matter to us, just as it matters to you. This is about customers reached, deployments landed, expertise built. So we want to have really good heuristics on who is good at what, where they are delivering for us and for our customers, where we have mission alignment. Even our top tier is weighted to reach breadth and not just scale. So a small team driving broad adoption does have a way to climb in this ladder that we are creating. Just to be very blunt here, though, the program is starting on services and the transformation motion, and we will, to answer your question directly, Haley, we're planning to broaden across the spectrum of routes to market here. So this, we want to make sure that we're growing the will to execute here. So full criteria is launching next Wednesday.
Thanks, Carl. Last question. You spoke a little bit about adoption and driving adoption being a focus, will co-work adoption offering be something that helped to contribute to partner tiering and standing?
Absolutely. We're constantly trying to increase our portfolio of adoption offerings. We want to absolutely anything that drives our customer footprint deeper and wider is what is going to make sense for this program. We want to make sure that everybody has the benefit of access to Claude and across all modes. So we are 100% going to be working hand in hand with the full go-to-market organization and the product organization. Thank you, Brad, on taking these adoption motions to market across products.
Awesome. Thank you. With that, we will wrap up, and we look forward to hopefully seeing most of you next week for our special edition on June 3rd to hear more about our new services offering, and we will share more details about accessing Anthropic Partner Academy. With that, thank you so much for joining us. Have a great day.